It's 2:30 p.m. and you know what that means? It's Women's Workout time! What's up? How you guys doing today? Hope it's great, as I do every day. But yeah, it doesn't matter what time, right? We're always getting out here. We're always doing what we gotta do. And today's backpack shoulder day. So we're gonna do a lot of unilateral stuff. I recommend about 10 to 12% of body weight in your backpack today. If you want to be really safe, go more towards that 10%. And that's, I would say, for males that are, trying to strength build, or so women or guys that are just trying to, kind of tone, get a little lighter, maybe do these faster with more cardio. You can go more towards that 5% range, okay? And that should be pretty solid. So I was going to explain something in the beginning. Wow, what up, Sajid? Saeed, how you doing? I was going to explain something. I had a question about the abdominal workout yesterday, and somebody said, well, I was getting really tired, right? And my lower abs wanted to give out. That's what we're always looking for, right? I mean, that's natural. If that happens and you really can't hold them up there, you can rest your legs in between, right? So my best advice to you is do it as long as you can until you absolutely can't hold them, and then put them down and then pick them back up. When you put them down for like 2 seconds, just enough to rest. Pick them back up, go till you can't do anymore. Put them down for a couple seconds. And what's that kind of like? That's kind of like a form of spotting yourself, right? Like we've talked about. And spotting, it's not literally spotting. No one's lifting what's up, Sammy boy? Nobody's lifting your legs, right? But it's definitely helpful in the sense of giving you just enough rest, but not too much so that you can complete the workout, right? And that's what it's about. Another thing they asked was, my back placement, my body placement's a little bit weird when I'm on the ground. So I'm gonna show you really quick. So it's probably with that lateral, those laterally effective oblique exercises, right? So I'll have to move this backpack for a second. Unless you guys you can see my body. If you can't see my legs, it doesn't matter. So when we're laying on our side, okay, when we're in our side pose or we're doing anything with 2 feet, right? So I'll start directly on my side. When we're doing anything in our side pose or we're on 2 feet, you're gonna have to 3/4 rock back. So my bottom side, I'm laying right on this. Okay? It's like the outside / back meat of my butt, my glutes, right? And when we're doing unilateral stuff, you're able to come forward, right? Because we talked about the range of motion. So you're fully on your side, okay? When we're doing twist holds, you're kind of 3/4, okay? So again, I'm on what I said the first time, the 2 leg stuff, and you're like this. Okay, so just do that. I mean, even with your legs on the ground, you could have this knee bent, whatever. You could have it straight, but feel that, okay? Just by going like that, you should already feel the contraction. So what up, Joey Ferocious? How you doing? What's up? All right, so let's get through these moves and get it rocking here, right? That's just something I wanted to reiterate, having had questions about that. So I hope that was helpful. So get your gloves. Don't forget those. Your hands might get ripped apart. Nobody wants that, right? So I'll put them on when we start. First up is lateral raise. I put a little more in mine than usual, so I'm going to give you guys my best. And if I fail, I fail. I figure I could just take weight out. But I wanted to remind myself and everyone that is with us, we should always be improving, right? So I shouldn't be doing the same weight I was doing 6 months ago with this. I should be getting stronger, and improving. And if I'm not, then I'm not practicing what I preach, and that's not what I'm about. So, this is it's a test, right? You got to test ourselves all the time. We don't do what's comfortable. That's not an effective exercise. If it feels really good and easy, that's no good. All right. So first up, lateral raise, and we'll do it without the backpack. because I'm about to destroy my shoulders. We'll go lateral raise, right? And again, when you fail and you can't get any more, what happens, right? Instead of coming from our hip, right? Because you're coming from this, when you come from a stopping point and you come up, this is a general principle with workouts, it's much harder, okay? So like take a bench press, for example. If you were to come down, right? And you were to come down and then hold it and then go up, much harder than do-doom, do-doom, because there's no momentum, right? And that makes sense, common sense, right? We can all, I'm sure, agree with that. And we use the same principles here, right? So instead of coming just from the hip when we're really tired, we're gonna come and swing across. But you're not gonna swing across, you're gonna swing across. Because what happens? You control the weight never controls you. And we talked about that yesterday a little bit, right? And that's true for all your workouts. So, please keep that in mind, right? So lateral raise, and when you get tired, you're gonna swing it. Front raise, same concept. At first, we're gonna come from next to our hip or even in front if you'd like. But the principle is you're stopping here and then coming up. And then we're stopping and then we're coming up. And we're looking to just break 90, or at least get to 90, okay? If you can't get to 90, it should be a little bit lighter, all right? So same with this. We should be getting to 90 degrees, right? Or we should be slightly breaking that plane of 90. So that's our front raise second. And again, when you're tired, you're gonna let it swing past your hip and come up, and you're gonna use that momentum to help you as a spot, right? We always talk about that. Altering the exercise to get more out of it. Lateral swing, slow eccentric. So it is what it sounds like. So if we can do it in the beginning without swinging, we're gonna try that. So we're gonna raise it up, and this is our concentric motion, right? It's our shortening of those muscle fibers in the shoulder. It is our contraction in that sense, right? And then our lengthening is on the way down, our eccentric motion. So we're gonna go slow. Now we probably won't be able to go quite that slow because it's gonna, the weight, but even if we get up and go like that, good, right? So we're gonna slow down on that eccentric contraction movement the second time around, doing our lateral and our front, okay? And if you need help on the swing, again, you do that on your way up. After that, we got shoulder press, right? Shoulder press recruits a larger muscle group, right? Not as specific, and that's why we're doing it last. We wouldn't do the hardest ones first, right? Then we'll repeat that for side two. That's unilateral series A. This is the first time we've had two different types of unilateral series. Unilateral series B. So we'll go back to that first arm, right? Because we're not going to crush the same one twice in a row. It's had time to rest now. And we're going to do our front raise. We're going to pull it, press it, and then back, okay? So again, raise, pull, press, decelerate the press, come back out and down, okay? So that was a process. Upright row is very effective. Upright row, we know, you lift it like this and you're looking for your hand to get to the chin, like you're kind of feeding yourself, right? But not like this motion, You're feeding yourself like an idiot would feed themselves, like. I don't know, just try to have fun. Press is last, so then we're gonna press again, all right? So then we'll do them all for the other side, and that's your shoulder workout for today, baby. What up, unknown mamacita? Unknown mamacita. I like that. Hell yeah. Bertha Flores, OG. Always on there. Joey Ferocious. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get it. And Edna Delos. How you guys doing? All right. You got about a minute. We'll get rocking and rolling here. What's up, girl? How you doing, Nadia? And at the end, we're going to talk about shocking your muscles so you don't plateau. And we're going to talk about primary lift rotation. So we'll get into that at the end. For now, put your gloves on. And get your heart ready. Because you're going to need it. At least you should. And if you don't, your backpack's not heavy enough. Or you're not working hard enough. Let's have fun. Shoulder day. All right. First up is going to be our lateral raise. Place it to the side. Beautiful today. And you're coming up, and again, just breaking that 90. Under control. Okay, coming forward. Raise. Slow on the way down. Slow on the way down. Now to the front. Slow. Slow. One more. Slow. Bring it up. And press. Other side. Lateral raise first. Front raise. Slow eccentric. To the front. And slow. Shoulder press. Back on that other side. We're front raise. Pull it in. Press. Down. Out. Down. Upright row. And your elbow is higher than your wrist, right? You don't want this, right? You want this. Okay? Side, you're going to front raise, pull, press, down, out. Right when you get down, give me that upright row. Good job, guys. Almost done with the circuit. Buen trabajo. One down. Nadia, you like that? Spanish. What's up? Good job. One down. So we will be starting with the same side every time here because, you know, we're going back and forth, right? So don't start with the side you just did, obviously, right? Start with the same one you did the first round as we will every round. Lateral raise first. I hope you took weight out if you needed to. I'm going to go for it. And if I need to change mid-set, again, I put more weight than usual, so excuse me if I seem to be struggling and give you my best, as I do every day. Front raise. Lateral and slow, eccentric. Okay? So kind of hit the brakes and down. We're coming forward. Slow eccentric. Press. I'm gonna have to drop the weight next round. We got 2 out of it. At least we'll see. I hope we get 2 out of it. Other side. My fine feathered friends. Lateral raise. Again, meeting or breaking 90. And we're going to the front. I'll stand off to the side. I'm about to do lateral again. Lateral. Slower eccentric. Slow eccentric. One more. Press. You can put it in that other hand. You're going to lift it to the front. Pull, press, out and down. Upright row. And then it's straight press. Press to death. I don't know what I'm saying. Lift that puppy up. Raise it like you love it. Yeah. Cheering, yeah. We're so excited to be doing shoulder day. Shane, we just are so happy. Front raise. Other side. Pull it. Press it. Down. Out. Down. In. Press. And right when you come down, you're going to give me give yourself an upright row. Get it up there. Shoulder press. Last one of the circuit. Good job, guys. Okay. I'm gonna try that weight one more time. We're gonna try the weight. Having fun, as always. So what we're gonna do, if you wanna keep the weight in, again, if your form's going, please don't. But if you feel like you were gonna take it out and you're really struggling, well, we're gonna do the hardest one first here. We're gonna do that raise with the slow eccentric first, so that we get it out of the way, and we'll see if that helps and it allows us to get through the workout, right, with the same weight, at least this round. So, good job. 2 down. 2 down. Soon to be 3. And we're gonna lateral raise. Slow eccentric. Slow. Now you're in a regular lateral, because now, if you're tired, you can swing. Front. Press it up. Nice work. Give me that other side. We're going to start with our lateral, slow eccentric. To the front. Slow all the way down. Now lateral. Front. Raise, pull, press. Again. Upright row. You already know. Let's go. Triple run. Starting to even look like a triple rainbow. Press. Throw random references through these. If you don't know, double rainbow video that one. Front raise, pull, press. Upright row. Press it. This weight is way too light. You need to press it. Press it. You guys, holy cannoli. I have to take a little bit out or my form is gonna suffer. We don't want that. We do not want that, so. Ever, right? tight. Get it right, get it tight. 3 down. Solamente 2 más. And unilateral raise. Regular. And we'll do our slow eccentric second now that we've lightened the load. Front raise. Lateral raise. Slow eccentric. Front raise. Slow. One more. Press it. Other side. Lateral. If you can't get to 90 or break it, makes the backpack lighter, so you get the full range of motion. Have fun. Keep going. Lateral raise. And slow the way down. To the front. And slow down. One more. Press it. Other side. Front, pull, press. Upright row. Press. Other side. Front raise. Pull it. Press. Again. Upright row. Nice job, guys. Keep going. You're almost done with your 4th circuit. And it's just one more. And who can't do 1 circuit? No one. And press. Alright, I have a fun idea for the last one. And if you're not sweating, that's okay. This is a toning day, right? So we're supposed to be just, having our shoulders die. What up, nighttime juice? Happy daytime. So you're supposed to just, feel the muscle fatigue in a day like this, right? Really dying. But you're not sweating, right? Because it's not as much cardio, right? And that's okay. It's different. It's a toning day. It's a building day, right? So keep that in mind. In this last round, we're going to do all slow eccentric, but we'll go back and forth between arms if we need to keep our form good. So lateral raise, slow eccentric, raise, slow, in front, slow, slow. Try it again this arm. Left circuit. Right. If you need to swing into it, that's okay. And I mean backpack swing, not you. I never mean you. Press. Slow eccentric. Slow eccentric. Other side, you animals. Lateral raise. Slow. Slow. To the front. Slow on the way down. To the side again. Nice and slow. To the front. Nice and slow. Press, slow eccentric. Other side. You need to lift it. Don't worry about the... Actually, yeah, we'll slow eccentric on the way down. And we'll do it again. Slow eccentric. Good. Upright row. Slow on the way down. Up. Twice. Slow. And press. Slow on the eccentric. Now 5 quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. Front raise. Pull it in. Press it. Slow on the way down. Up. In. Press. Slow eccentric. We'll cut into this one. It's okay. Slow on the way down. Now 2. And slow. Press. Last one of the day, baby. Let's go. Slow eccentric. Slow eccentric. 5 quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Okay. Now, hold on 1 second. What we're going to do is a bilateral front raise slow eccentric. So this shoulder just went, so it's going to be tired. That's okay. Ready? Up. And we're going to hold it first. Hold it. Hold it right there. If my niece sees this, she'll like that part. I'm crazy Uncle Shane. Slow eccentric. Making funny faces all day, you know. Up again. And hold. Slow eccentric. One more. Up. Hold. Slow eccentric. Okay. Okay, yeah, no more. Sean, what's up, my brother? Love you, man. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. All right. Wow. So today we're going to talk about not plateauing, right? And that you're shocking the muscle all the time. Important thing you should be doing. And alternating your lifts and your primary lifts. You know, is a big part of that, altering those. And so there's a lot of ways you could shock your muscles and you cannot plateau. There are many different types of workout routines. And again, I want to say, what I explain to you guys, that's how I do it. You do it how you want. What up the Majestic Goon, however you want. But it's just stuff that works for me, you know, and practice how you preach, right? So if that's what I do, I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I tell you what works for me, and I'm really happy, and I find success in my working out. So I would like to share that with you, and you can absorb what you want from it. But again, I want to make it clear that that's not the only right way. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of people in a lot better shape than me that do it different, right? So do your research if you want to, but I've done a lot myself, and you know, having worked out for so long, this has all been through trial and error, right, as well. So on top of study. So I want to share that. Anyway, just want to make that clear. So in shocking the body, you can do that in many ways. And you can do that with changing your routine every 6 weeks, every 4 weeks. You know, a lot of studies say around that time you should be changing it, right, to not plateau. You could also, I'm going to move this quick. You could also, see a little better. You could also change it every time pretty much. And that's how I do it myself. Okay, so I slightly change each workout. Now we have some staples that we do all the time. You know, and mine are pull-ups and push-ups staples. Shoulder press staple. Squat staple. Right? Leg raises with weight at the gym in between the feet. Staple for core. So those are, and I don't think we've discussed those really, but those are a great exercise. If you want to know more about it, please message me. But and you can do knee bends like that too with the weight in the feet. Fantastic. So message me again if you have any questions about that. But there are some staples. But it's important to rotate what you hit primarily, even if you're going to do the same workout days later. So say we did, let's take shoulders and back. I don't know. So then you know, you could do 3 body parts, but remember, I don't want you doing less than 20 sets for a body part. Less than 15, okay? At the absolute minimum, I would say. And again, every set's till failure, right? And we've talked about how you do drop sets and compound sets for some of those sets, but in the beginning, I want you to, you know, really use heavier weight that you're obviously, you know, comfortable with doing, maybe 4 to 6 reps, right? Something like that, 4 to 8. And this is if you're trying to get bigger and more cut at the same time. So everybody I talk to pretty much says, that's what I want to do. So that's why I'm using this example, okay, and this style of working out. You can do both at the same time. And so when we do our shoulder and back, we'll say, you know, if you're not able to hit those 60 sets right away, for those of you know, get started out, we'll even go as low as 30 sets, right? Or 30 or 40. So you're doing 15 or 20 for just 2 body parts. Because remember, you wouldn't make it 3 body parts now. You're going to do 1 less body part because you're not going to sacrifice what you're doing for 1. If you did 60 sets with 6 different body parts and only 10 sets each one, you're not hitting any one of those enough, right? To grow or, you know, to make a significant difference with that particular muscle group. So you don't want to spread yourself too thin in that sense. And we've talked about that. And so that's why we say don't do less than 15 for a body part. And so we'll say for, more beginners, 30 set day, and you're doing 15 of each. So we'll say you did your first 10 sets were weighted pull-ups for back, because you do the hardest one first. And so to reiterate and to kind of explain what I meant the other day, I said we do our presses first because they're the hardest. Now, the hardest, if you have the same weight, are isolation things. So doing an incline fly is harder than incline press because, you're recruiting less muscles, right? To do that, it's much more specific, larger muscle group with the press, right? So the reason I say we do that first is because you don't do the same weight with it. If you were doing the same weight, we would do the press last. And that's why we just did that. And we did our raises first because we weren't changing weight in the middle. But at the gym, you have the luxury of going and changing your weight and the dumbbells frequently and easily. And again, free weights are everything. You do free weight stuff. To hell with the machines. Free weights. Machines are just for the very end. You want to burn out. Even look, cable flies are good and stuff like that for chest, right? From the bottom or from the top But that's an end of the workout thing. You never start with something like that. You start with the things where you have to recruit, where you're recruiting the most muscle, so you're going heavier, because you're not going to go heavier at the end. So while we have that energy, we do our press. While we have that energy, we do our weighted pull-ups. Or, if you don't do them with weight, regular pull-ups. Now, you could do them with a weight belt or clamp weight in your feet, however you want to do it. I have a weight belt. I think that's great. You can get one on Amazon for like 20-some bucks. They're actually awesome. Great investment. You can do dips with them too. So look into that. So whatever you're starting with is the most rigorous in terms of how much weight you're using, and you're recruiting larger muscle group. So then after that, then you go, and now some machines are good, like I think specifically, honestly, for back, machines are acceptable because they're great for rows and stuff. You don't really get that without, the cable, right? But form and your weight is everything, right? And so you're doing the pull-ups, and then you move to rows. So you did say the first 10 sets pull-ups, and not less than 15 for a body part, remember? It doesn't mean a specific exercise, it means a body part. So you're doing 15 for back, you did 10 for pull-ups, they're the most rigorous. And then you got to those rows, and now you're a little bit lighter, you're pretty tired, your back's kind of shot, but you're hitting a different portion of your back, right? Because with those lat pull-downs, we're hitting, the buys and the lats and the forearms with stabilization. But when we're doing those rows, it's more rhomboid stuff, right? Still the forearms and buys, but more rhomboids, right? So you're recruiting other muscles. And so you're doing that a little bit lighter. Now, whatever you do for shoulders, say then you start with press, and then you do lateral raises and front raises, whatever. The next workout that you do, shoulders and back, you're not going to start with pull-ups. You're going to start, I would recommend you could do 2 different exercises, but we'll say, hey, staple. Say they were both staples, rows and pull-ups. Whatever you prefer, right? However you look at it. And you want to do them again. You go do those rows, do a different grip. You did wide grip last time because you were tired, right? Fatigued, and you wanted to isolate more and tone, and this is just like getting rip status at the end. You're just isolating, you're doing stuff like holds, it's a little bit lighter. The pull-ups are a powerful movement, right? And so this time, you've turned that into, you're doing a tighter grip, so you can go heavier, and you're gonna go for power now. You're keeping the form good, keeping that back stiff and straight, but you're going for power, pulling it into your chest, or at least around your xiphoid process, right? Boom, boom. So you're changing which one you're doing heavy than the last time, even if you were doing the same ones. Then when you do pull-ups, you do it with no weight. Or you do different grip. You did military last time, right? Because we always start with the hardest stuff, right? So now this time you're doing chin-ups. And you're doing these with no weight. And so you're able to do the same thing, but you're still going to help yourself to not plateau. Now, even better than that, and then you do different things and even if you did the same things for shoulders, you reverse in similar fashion. And you go lighter on the press, right? Obviously, after, if you're doing it second. But I recommend doing your presses and power movements first. But that's if you want to keep those workouts. You could just do different stuff, right? So now this time you go and you do deadlifts first. I think that's even better, right? And you can't do those in Planet Fitness. Hey, thanks, Majestic Goon. I'm glad you got something out of it. And, you know, you can't do those at Planet Fitness. They have the Smith machine, right? God-forsaken things. You don't have to balance anything. But you go to a real gym, and you can, you know, get the free weight and do the, you know, keep your back arch nice, right? And do your deadlifts, right? And you can look into straight leg, you know, Romanian, you know, bent, all these different types of deadlifts. But you make that the primary exercise this time. It's another power movement. Last time, it was pull-ups. This time, it's that. And this time, you can even end with something different. Okay? You can end with bent over rows. You can end with bent over rows, where you're bent, back arched, and you're rowing, right? 2 different back exercises, both very effective still. And you're not going to plateau. So you constantly are shocking your body. You never let it get fully used to a type of exercise or a type of workout or even an order, specific workout. Like we said, if you're going to do the same pull-ups and rows, you're swapping now and altering the form accordingly so that the lighter thing is second. And so that's a little food for thought today. You know, hope you got something out of that. And that was a good workout, guys. The shoulders, they're burning, so great job today. Tomorrow we have HIIT day. Any special requests, please message me. Love talking to you guys, getting feedback, and hearing how you're doing. Most of all, your progression. I love when I get pictures of you guys, you know, before and afters and stuff. I mean, it's just, it's great. It's great, you know, to see you guys helping yourself. So have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.